I am a direct descendant of the Ndebele royal family of Mokopane in South Africa. I'm the founder president of the Basic Income Grant South Africa political party. I will be standing for the presidency of the Republic of South Africa in 2024. As South Africa, we are part of a continent called Africa. Therefore, we have to adhere and subscribe to Pan-Africanism because we are African by nature, we are African by the creation of the Lord, we are also African by geography. South Africa is sitting at the bottom of the African continent. And South Africa is fully dependent on its survival from the rest of the continent and vice versa. You cannot separate South Africa from Africa, whether it's by culture, whether it's by tradition, whether it's by tourism, whether it's by doing business. South Africa does not have a choice as a country but to remain a part of Southern Africa and the continent. Being African, you have to subscribe to certain African fundamentals. In South Africa, we have a saying that says, Umuntu ngumuntu gabantu. And what that means is that I am a human being because of other human beings. The main purpose of Big SA is to unite the nation through the economy. We want to take our people out of poverty by affording them an amount every month. The monthly payments are going to be disbursed as a universal basic pay. UBP we call it, universal basic pay. And the manner in which that amount are going to be raised is that we are going to create a parallel taxation structure called a universal sales tax. So the universal sales tax will be collected by the revenue services, national revenue services, in a manner in which each and every item, goods, services sold in South Africa will be taxed according to a particular percentage. At this moment, we are looking at a particular numbers. If you take a bottle of water that you buy from the supermarkets, the retailers might be selling it for 10 rand, and we are proposing that we add a 2.50 rand to the bottle of water. An economy that is growing can only create employment. In an economy that's not growing, it is almost impossible to create new jobs. The Big SA dream is to almost double the revenue of the Republic of South Africa, of the government of the Republic of South Africa. At this moment, the South African government collects approximately 1.5 trillion rand in government revenue through taxes. With the Big SA, we believe we can collect another 1.2 trillion parallel to the 1.5 trillion. That on its own is an 80% government revenue collection. The intent is to unite the nation through the economy. At the same time, getting people who are impoverished to participate in the economy by circulating the money that the big SA government will be making available to them. The South African economy is in a bad state. From about 2018, almost every quarter of the year, we've had a decline in growth in South Africa. In fact, the South African economy was in recession for 3 quarters before the coronavirus situation started in about March of 2020. And we have never recovered since then. There are 61 million South Africans in this country, and 41 million of those are adult South Africans aged 18 and higher, and the oldest citizen in the country. 21 million of the 41 million are currently unemployed, and the situation is getting worse. Now, the current South African landscape is in a dire situation. Poverty is going higher, inequality is getting worse, unemployment, as the World Bank alluded to recently, is at its highest ever since the advent of South Africa and since the independence in 1994. We have been very lucky to have been exposed to liberation icons such as the late Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, the late Julius Nyerere, Jomo Kenyatta, and many other names. But my biggest liberation icon is a lady by the name of Winnie Mandela. Because when all the chips were down in the 80s and part of the early 90s, when all the icons and other people had passed on and some were in jail, such as Nelson Mandela sitting on Robben Island, our only motivation and only hope came from Winnie Mandela. She kept us alive. She kept our hopes alive as a youth of our time. And we of the opinion that Winnie Mandela has not been celebrated enough in the world and in South Africa. Because as we call her the mother of the nation, we believe that if it was not because of her, we could have all given up. All the other leaders were either in jail or in exile out of the country. Winnie Mandela stood up for all of us. She sacrificed her life. She sacrificed the life of her own children. She was detained, she was arrested, she was banished, she was moved out of her house. And we thank the international community at the time for having kept the hopes alive together with her.